What's up guys, my name is Rohith, this is Aravind, this is Aaditya, and welcome to Sportskeeda's Indian Football Roundup, episode 2. And so last week we discussed a lot about the first week of the ISL, and we're going to continue with that this week. And we're going to talk a lot about FC Goa's amazing form, we're going to talk about the first managerial casualty, and we're also going to talk about a number of penalty misses which we saw this week. But first things first, let's just dive right into it, and let's talk about the best match of the week. This match saw 6 goals, out of which 5 came in the first quarter of the game itself. And we're talking about Goa versus Pune. So Adi, can you tell me, what was that match like? 4-2.
Again, I mean, we spoke about Chennai versus Northeast United last week where both sides didn't defend. And this was pretty much the same as well. I think it was more down to Pune's lack of quality in defense. Like they weren't able to cope with the movement of Koro, Jackie, Hugo Bumu, Edu Badia, and we all know that Goa don't defend anyway, as Sergio Lopez has made it clear that he prefers winning 5-2, 5-3 rather than 1-0, 2-0. So it was a very, very good game to watch. 6 goals in the first half, 5 in the first 23, 24 minutes. And honestly, I think Goa, they need their defense to come to the party as well, because their attack's not going to keep bailing them out. They're not going to win a lot of games when they concede 2-3 all the time. They're going to have a problem maybe in their next 2 games with Koro suspended after he got sent off in that game, because Koro's been unbelievable. Last season he was a goal scorer, and this season he's become an all-round striker. He has 6 goals already, he has 4 assists as well. So Goa really going to miss Koro, who's been absolutely fantastic for them.
So Koro is actually our best player of the week despite the red card, and that's how impressive he was for FC Goa. And he looks like he's hell-bent on defending that crown of the best goal scorer of the tournament. So let's see where he ends up on the goal scoring table. But moving on from the best foreign player, he was our best foreign player by the way. We're moving on to the best Indian player, and I'm going to let Aravind talk about that. So who was the best Indian player this week?
Okay, so it has to be CK VINEETH of Kerala Blasters. So recently in a match against Jamshedpur FC, Kerala Blasters were trailing 2-0 at halftime, and then CK VINEETH scored the all-important equalizer, and he just converted across by Samilin Dongle, and then it was 2-2, and fans went crazy. And it was a good goal, and he didn't do much in the match, but in just one moment he changed the game.
Right. Moving on, let's move on to the coach of the week. So this time our coach of the week is a man who brought his team back from 2-0 down to 2-2 thanks to some inspiring substitutions. And I'm going to let Aravind explain what exactly he did. We're talking about none other than Kerala Blasters' David James. So what did he do to get them back into the game?
So initially he made 2 changes at halftime. Lal Ruvatara was substituted, and so was Teziron Kiziko. He brought in a couple of other guys, Sahal Samad, and the other person was Cyril. Then the third substitution he made was at 68th minute. Nazari went off for Samilin Dongle. So these are the 3 guys who inspired that comeback. Dongle provided 2 assists, and Sahal Samad provided an amazing through ball which led to a penalty, but Stojanovic was unable to convert that penalty, and in the end also Kerala Blasters had a chance to score the winning goal, and Cyril was the one who provided that cross, but Stojanovic was unable to finish it.
So like you said, David James did everything right to get them back into the game, and it was only Stojanovic's miss from the penalty spot and the final in the latter stages of the game which actually saw them come away with only 1 point instead of all 3. Okay, moving on, we move on to the goal of the week, and this time the goal of the week has not come from the ISL, it's actually come from the I-League. So the I-League got kicked off on Friday, and we saw Shillong LAJONG's MAHESH NAOREM score a blinder. So he received the ball outside the box near the corner, and he took a left-footed curling shot which beat the goalkeeper, and you should have seen the crowd's reaction to actually live that moment. It was a brilliant goal from a youngster, and that is our goal of the weekend, because we've seen a number of great goals, but that had to be the clincher because there was just nobody else that came close to that goal, right? Yeah. Yeah. So our next segment is the worst of the week, and we're going to start with the worst team of the week. And so, Adi, which is the worst team of the week this week?
I think it must be the Delhi Dynamos. They lost to Mumbai 2-0, and a very, very lucky 0-0 draw against Chennai as well. And big problem for Delhi is that they're not scoring goals. They've scored only 3 goals in their 5 games so far, and they have the lowest shot accuracy in the league, 28%. So although their manager is still very, very confident that it's about finishing and not much else, and their owner is still very, very bullish on Twitter, Delhi have a lot of work to do, and I think they're in trouble already.
Last year, Delhi had the help of Kalu Uche to score goals, and they don't have him this year. So it seems like they're still trying to figure out the best combination, and they don't have goal scorers to give them goals. And that's why they're not exactly scoring enough goals, and that's why they're not getting good results either. Moving on to the worst miss of the week. We saw, like we talked about earlier, there were a number of penalty misses, but Aravind, what is your worst miss of the week?
Okay, it has to be Mumbai City captain Pablo Machado. His miss against FC Goa. So FC Goa were leading in the game, and Mumbai City had the chance to pull something back, but he was right at near the goal mouth, and he failed to even get a shot on target. And Goa went on to win final. And apart from that, Rafael Bastos missed a penalty. He plays for Mumbai City. Then Slavisa Stojanovic missed the penalty against Jamshedpur FC. And we also have one Northeast United, Emiliano Alfaro missing a penalty against FC Goa. Emiliano plays for FC Pune City, and he could have made it 4-3.
Okay, so Pablo Machado, like we come back to that was the biggest miss. He actually had a teammate in support, and he still didn't pass, and he went for the shot directly from a sort of tight angle, but not very tight, and he didn't even test the keeper. It went wide of the post, and his reaction said it all. That was probably one of the biggest misses in his career, who knows. Moving on, we've got to the worst referee decision of the week. So this, like we said in the first episode, this season is also going to see a lot of blunders from the referee. But this wasn't exactly a blunder, was it?
No, I think it was.
It was? Okay,
Yeah,
so we're talking about Pranay Halder not getting booked. Okay?
So he did get booked, but he should have gotten sent off because he obviously committed the foul on Rafael, and then somehow he grabbed hold of the referee. He put his hand in the referee's pocket trying to stop the referee from taking out the yellow card. I don't know from when it's allowed for a footballer to manhandle the referee and all of that. So I think he should have got sent off, but it was ridiculous.
We've seen a number of footballers sent off for even touching the referee or even getting in his face, and this was also one of those times. And although he might have looked a little friendly while doing it, it wasn't. It's not allowed, and that's exactly why that is the worst decision of the week. Okay, so now let's move on to the controversy of the week. So this week we saw the first managerial sacking in the ISL, with Pune City sacking Miguel Angel Portugal after just 3 games. They had just 1 point from 3 games, and the loss against Bengaluru FC was enough for the management to say, look, we've had enough. We haven't seen any sort of progress from the team. He wanted to play a possession style game, which we didn't see at all. And even the goal scorers like Marcelinho and Alfaro were struggling to even get forward into the final third. So Miguel Portugal is gone. But they got assistant coach Pradyum Reddy to take over from him. And the players seem to be happy with him and his decision making and what he brings to the dressing room. So even though they lost the last game to FC Goa, the players were actually tweeting in support of Pradyum Reddy and saying, he should be the coach. So we haven't had an Indian coach as such in the ISL. So Adi, what do you think? Do you think Pradyum Reddy should be given the full-time role?
Look, if a player in the dressing room of the stature of Marcelinho says that Pradyum's given them good ideas, he's held the dressing room together, I don't see any reason why Pradyum shouldn't be a coach. I mean, a football team appoints a coach based on your capability, not whether you're Indian or where you come from. So if the players are happy with him, and players of the seniority and the capability of Marcelinho are happy with Pradyum Reddy, then there's no reason why Pradyum shouldn't be the manager of Pune. But then again, this is the ISL and a lot of their rules are incomprehensible to me, so I don't know.
So yeah, we feel he should be given a chance. Pune are last on the table, they have nothing to lose right now, and they actually have...
And there's no relegation either.
Yeah, exactly. They could give him a go and actually see what comes of it before they actually try and bring in a new coach who has no idea about the players and the squad and how they play. So Pradyum Reddy should probably be given a chance, and let's see what happens to Pune in the next few games and see whether they can climb up the table. Sticking with controversies, there was one more involving Pune City, but this time we're not talking about the players or the coaches or what's happening in the dressing room or on the field. We're talking about what happened off the field. And this time there was trouble in the stands between FC Goa supporters and Pune supporters. So Aravind, you covered that. What exactly happened there?
So FC Goa, the stadium, Fatoda Stadium, doesn't have an away stand as such. So they have designated only one part of the stand as the away section of the crowd. So there were obviously many Goan supporters there, and when FC Goa took the lead against FC Pune City, so the Goan supporters were on the FC Pune City fans' faces, and the Orange Army, which is the official fan club of FC Pune City, they said that a female or a couple of females were manhandled and harassed by the Goan supporters. So eventually FC Goa decided to act on this, and they have changed the section of the stands. They have designated one separate stand as the away stand for all future FC Goa games.
So that is something that's really required now in the ISL. Now, earlier there were times when fans would mix with each other in the stands, but now there is a proper rivalry between teams, and you will see a lot of this kind of thing, these kind of thing happening. So it is imperative that the stadium authorities actually have dedicated away stands with extra security in those stands bordering the other stands. So that is the only way to ensure fan safety, and that is what is required now in the ISL. Okay, so we're almost done with this episode, but we just wanted to bring up the I-League as well. So I-League kicked off on Friday, and what was really heartening to see was the attendance for these matches. So the I-League has not got as much marketing as the ISL does. If you watch TV, every 30 seconds you see an ad on the ISL, but there's absolutely nothing on the I-League. The federation has done nothing to promote the I-League. But when you look at the attendances, you had 28,000 people watching Gokulam Kerala's game in Kozhikode, and then you had another 26,000 watching Nervaka's game against East Bengal. And that tells you there is a lot of interest in the I-League, and it needs to be supported by the fans and the media as well when it comes to covering these games. So I'm going to let Aravind talk about the I-League results, because it's just the first round of fixtures and not everyone has played a game yet. So who's impressed you so far?
Obviously, the biggest game of the week was Shillong LAJONG versus AIZAWL, which ended 2-1 in favour of LAJONG, thanks to that amazing goal by MAHESH, who also got a brace. Then Mohan Bagan drew 1-1 with Gokulam Kerala, and the most interesting part about this game was Henry Kiseka, who plays for Bagan now, scored against his former club. And Neroka lost 0-2 to East Bengal, and both these goals were scored by Enrique Esqueda. He has a lot of experience playing in the Colombian and Mexican league. Lastly, the opening match of the tournament was between Chennai City FC and Indian Arrows. Indian Arrows played well initially. They took the lead and then they lost their way, and they lost 4-1 to Chennai City. I think one of them got a hat-trick. Pedro Manzi, yeah, he's a new recruit in the Chennai.
That's about all we have for this episode. Like we did last week, make sure you check our best 11. We're going to put a picture up on the screen now, and let us know if your 11 differs from our 11. We've picked 11 of the best ISL players from the week. You can also pick yours. You can even pick 11 foreigners if you feel like it. We're not going to say anything. It's your 11 after all. And let us know what our 11 is like and whether you agree with it. Otherwise, you can disagree with it and give us your 11 as well. And just put it down in the comments. Until next week, this is Rohith, Aravind and Adi signing off. See you.